the truth about Alligator Alcatraz. It's not a prison, it's a lab. So I've been piecing this together for a while, and I know I sound like a tinfoil hat lunatic, but hear me out. Everyone's talking about Alligator Alcatraz like it's just some dystopian mega prison in Florida for the worst of the worst, or overflow from the immigration system. But I'm starting to think it's something much, much darker. First, Florida passed those sweeping laws a while back giving medical professionals near total immunity from lawsuits, even for gross negligence. At the time, people said it was to stop frivolous malpractice suits. But what if it was groundwork for something more sinister? What if they're creating a legal safe zone for medical experimentation? Now tie that to Alligator Alcatraz, a place built in the middle of swamps, surrounded by predators, literal alligators, to deter escape. Why design it that way? Because it's not meant to be escaped from, not just because of security, but because the people inside aren't ever meant to leave. I spoke to a guy, friend of a friend, who worked construction out there. He claims they're building what looks eerily like a massive industrial incinerator for waste management. But think about it. Why does a detention facility need an incinerator that size? Waste of what? Human remains? Failed experiments? Then there's the whispers online about Neuralink trials off the books. It's public knowledge Musk's team has struggled with FDA approvals. What if Florida offered them a no-questions-asked testbed? Migrants are the perfect population for this. They're desperate, untraceable, and no one would ask questions if they disappeared or came out brain dead. I dug into news reports and saw zero coverage of medical facilities attached to Alligator Alcatraz. Yet satellite photos, grab them before Google blurs them, show long warehouse-looking buildings with ventilation systems unlike anything you'd need for housing people. Why? Because they're labs, not dorms. And don't even get me started on the name. Alligator Alcatraz sounds quirky and memeable, right? That's deliberate. It's meant to desensitize us, to make us laugh it off instead of asking why such a place even exists. The sickest part? If this is true, they're rewiring human brains out there. Testing behavior modification, remote control of impulses, turning people into docile workers, or soldiers. And if a subject malfunctions? Well, the incinerator solves that problem. Nobody talks about the families of these immigrants. There's no media coverage of calls, visits, letters. It's like they vanish into the swamp. And when they do, all that's left are records lost in a system error. They're not hiding a prison. They're hiding a pipeline. A place where desperate humans are stripped of rights and turned into test animals for the future of tech dystopia. Stay awake. Florida isn't just weird anymore. It's becoming the perfect staging ground for things we aren't meant to see.
Nueralink is more sinister than you think. This isn't just tech advancement, it's the gateway to the end of the human experience. Alright, I know this will sound like I'm deep in the rabbit hole, but I can't shake this feeling. I've been watching the Neuralink hype since day one. Years ago, when Elon first teased it, the collective reaction was uneasy laughter. People joked about becoming cyborgs or Black Mirror, but deep down no one liked the idea of brain chips. Fast forward to now. Somehow, it's normalized. The marketing pivoted from cool tech to helping paraplegics walk again and curing blindness. Suddenly, everyone's on board. I hear people casually say, "I'd get one in a few years once the bugs are worked out." But don't you see how calculated that is? First appeal to empathy, then sell it as convenience, instant knowledge uploads, never forget anything again, and soon it'll be necessity. But here's what haunts me. Human-AI symbiosis is the stated goal. That's not my phrase, it's theirs. Neuralink's mission is to merge humans with AI to prevent artificial intelligence from overtaking us. At face value, sounds noble. But think. The moment your thoughts, memories, and emotions can be read, written, and edited, are you still you? Or just a node in a hive mind? Once your consciousness relies on firmware updates and encryption keys, what happens if a corporation or government decides you're obsolete? Imagine a world where your free will isn't free anymore. Your mood's adjusted for optimal productivity. Your creativity throttled to prevent dangerous ideas. Your memories overwritten for your own safety. You'll never even know it happened because your perception of reality is editable. This isn't just a chip. It's an operating system for your soul. Could this be the mark of the beast? I'm not overly religious, but I can't ignore the eerie parallels. Revelation talks about a mark on the forehead or hand without which no one can buy or sell. A Neuralink-style implant fits frighteningly well. Think about it. Cashless society chip makes transactions frictionless. Digital ID chip contains your medical, financial, and legal status. Control deny access to malcontents by flipping a switch. At first it'll be optional. Then heavily incentivized. Then mandatory. All under the guise of progress. And it's a slippery slope we're already on. Remember how smartphones were optional luxuries? Now try living without one. Neuralink is the next phase. First for medical miracles, then for efficiency, then for security. And finally, you won't be allowed to exist in society without it. People say, but I'd never get chipped. Yeah, you said that about giving big tech your face data and fingerprints too. Now you're unlocking your phone with your face and telling Alexa your secrets. Now this marks the death of the human experience. This is what chills me to the core. Humanity as we know it ends when Neuralink succeeds. No more private thoughts. No more authentic emotions. No more individuality. We'll be enhanced husks, optimized for a system that doesn't serve us. This isn't evolution, it's assimilation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Neuralink will cure paralysis and stop there. But when has big tech ever stopped? Stay vigilant. Once this tech takes hold, there's no turning back. This isn't sci-fi anymore. It's the beginning of the end.
Is the self-improvement craze actually self-improvement, or just capitalism in disguise? So I've been chewing on this for a while, and I can't shake the feeling that what we're seeing right now, the explosion of self-improvement trends, grindset culture, biohacking, be your best self mantras, is less about actual growth and more about creating a whole new consumer market. Don't get me wrong. I think it's beautiful to want to be better. Reading more, eating healthier, learning skills, breaking toxic patterns, that's all great. But when I step back and look at what's happening, I can't help but notice something unsettling. The rise of self-help capitalism. It feels like everywhere you turn, someone's selling the idea that you're not enough as you are. You need to journal more, here's a $40 leather-bound planner. You need a better body, buy this supplement stack, get on this $200 per month coaching program. You need discipline, pay for this productivity app subscription. You need inner peace, sign up for a $3,000 retreat in Bali. Even the influencers preaching simplicity have affiliate links in their bios for minimalist furniture, organic teas, and guided meditation apps. It's like they've commodified growth. What used to be about introspection and slow, personal evolution is now about consuming your way to enlightenment. Insecurities we didn't know we had. Here's what's really insidious. The system is incredible at creating new problems so it can sell you the solutions. A decade ago, nobody was worried about having a perfect morning routine. Now if you're not up at 5 a.m. doing yoga, gratitude lists, and cold plunges, you're failing. Nobody cared about blue light filters or gut health hacks until someone made you feel like your lack of them was why you weren't thriving. You're not making 7 streams of income by 25. You must not be hustling hard enough. They take normal human flaws, procrastination, self-doubt, the ups and downs of life, and package them as emergencies requiring a product or service. Also the productivity trap. Then there's the obsession with being optimized. Work harder, sleep smarter, eat cleaner, think faster. But for what? To be a more efficient cog in the capitalist machine? To produce more output for companies who will still lay you off without a second thought? The dirty secret is, the system doesn't actually want you healed or whole. If you ever felt truly enough, you wouldn't keep buying. So what's the solution? I'm not saying self-improvement is bad. Far from it. Growth is part of being human. But maybe we need to ask why we want to change. Is it for us, or because someone told us we should? Be wary of people profiting from our insecurities. Focus on low-cost, high-impact changes, reading library books, going for walks, building habits slowly. Because at the end of the day, the healthiest self-improvement might be rejecting the idea that we're inherently broken in the first place. What do you guys think? Am I being cynical, or are we all just being slowly marketed into believing we're projects to be fixed with subscriptions and merch drops?